So I've decided that I don't want to be happy anymore. That's not completely true. I've kind of decided that I want to stop chasing happiness, though. I don't know. I feel like we're fed, at least in like Western societies for most of our lives, that our goal is to make money and be happy. We are fed this idea of what being happy looks like. Like, being happy looks like a lot of money because we live in a capitalistic society. And it looks like having expensive cars, having the perfect relationship. We're fed this narrative of what happy looks like. But the thing about all of those things is that those definitions of happiness are fleeting. They can just as easily be taken away. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I'm gonna knit while I'm doing this because anxiety. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about things that we wanted. And I am not one to think that wanting things is bad. In fact, I think we have our desires for a reason, and part of that reason is that we're meant to have them on some level. But they asked me if it was okay to want to be famous. They had a friend who went viral on TikTok, and they noticed that, you know, they would be way happier and way more upbeat and in a way better mood when their videos did well. And when they didn't do as well as that viral video that one time, they would be like in a really sour mood. And so this person was like, do you think it's a bad thing to want fame? And I was like, no, because I want those things. I'm not gonna lie. But the problem comes when you're basing all of your happiness from them. And I think the distinction there is you have to know the difference between happiness and joy. Because like I said, happiness is something that is fleeting. Like, I'm really happy when I go shopping and I find something on sale that I've wanted for a long time. Or I'm really happy when I find the perfect apartment or the perfect house, or like I'm able to afford like my favorite car. Like, of course I'm gonna be really happy, but that happiness is gonna be temporary. It can be taken away from me in a second. But joy is something that I feel like we control at our soul level. The sun shining outside brings me joy. Like, I find joy in so many things, and I think it's important to start looking for those things. That's something that we can control more. Not only is more fulfilling, but it's something that will last us. I'm a singer. Maybe getting 1 million streams is gonna bring me happiness. But what if in 10 years no one's listening to my music? Then I just gonna be sad and miserable all the time? No. I need to find a way to find joy in the creative process of making music as well. Because if the only reason that I'm doing something is for the clout or for the money or for what I might get out of it, then that's going to be a miserable existence in the long run. I will say that I think a lot of the reason that we're dissatisfied in Western cultures is because we try to constantly look for happiness in these external things and don't discover and find joy around us. I really like to travel, and one thing that I've noticed when I go to places outside of the United States, especially like small islands or like small communities, is that there's so much joy. Like, they're so grateful for everything, and they may have less than, in fact, they most of the time do have less than a lot of us do here in the United States. They're just so joyful. They're surrounded by their friends and family, or because they get to have a guest and show them what their life looks like and show them what their little corner of the world looks like and show them what their perspective on life is. Like, there's just so much joy there. One of my goals for this year is to stop chasing happiness and to uncover the joy that's already within me and allow that to come to the surface more often. And the more often that I practice that, the more often it should come to the surface and the easier it'll get. But I feel like a lot of us have had a rough 3 years. And so it's been hard for me, honestly, to be happy and find that joy. But it really is a goal for me this year. Focus more on that joy than that happiness. Because that joy is within us, always. And we can always call on that joy. We can always find joy in something, whether it's relationships with friends and family, whether it's something that we have going on that day, whether it's just existing today. But there's always something to be grateful for, and there's always something to be joyful for. I'm not saying that to discount anything that you may be struggling with, because I fully believe that it's just as important to feel your feelings. I'm not here to preach toxic positivity. There's just so much good in the world. And we see a lot of bad, especially recently. There's been a lot of broadcasting the bad. And by recently, I mean like the past 10 years. I'm really actively trying to look more for the good and not ignore the bad, because you can't have one without the other, but just to remember that there's both. And it's not overwhelmingly bad all the time. Recently, something that I started doing is just like allowing myself to dance. I know that sounds so crazy and like so minuscule of a thing to do, but I'll go out and I'll hear music at the supermarket or hear music out in the store that I'm shopping in, and I'll love the music and I'll want to dance, and I'll just allow myself to do that without it being weird. I won't like break out into a choreographed High School Musical number. If I could do that, I would though. Let's make no mistake, I would do that. But I'll just like allow myself to like enjoy the music, like groove, and it's not weird. But we tend to notice what we're looking for. I don't know if you've ever like gotten a new car or like a new pair of shoes or like something that you've gotten, but you probably have noticed like a lot more of that thing out in the world. Like if you just bought a Toyota Corolla, you're probably going to see more Toyota Corollas on the road, and it's not because there are more Toyota Corollas on the road because there's the same number that there were before. It's just because you have one now, you're paying attention to it more, so you're seeing them more. It's kind of the same with your perspective on things. If you think that the world is bad and everything is awful, you're going to see all the bad things and all the awful things in the world. If you think that there's good in the world, then you're going to notice more of the good in the world. And so my challenge for myself, but also for you, is to just like notice more good in the world and remember that there's good in you too. Because sometimes I think we can get caught in that trap of forgetting or not believing people when they say that there's good in us and there's beauty in us, but allowing ourselves to live that truth because it's true. Like there's beauty and good in all of us, and we should allow ourselves to notice it. We should allow ourselves to live in it and embody it because it's there. Look at what I'm making. It's a rectangle, a green rectangle. If you don't make the decision yourself to find joy in things, then you're not going to. It's a personal decision. It's a choice. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone dealing with depression, anxiety, anything of that nature, but I am saying that you're allowed to find joy in things. And the more that you do it, the easier it's gonna get. You are completely worthy and deserving of joy and happiness in your life. Yes, both of those things. And so am I. I deserve all the things I want, let's be honest. That's it. Go out and be happy and joyful. I command you. Okay, bye.